So I spent 30 days making a beach resort simulation game with a fantasy twist. I always wanted to make a simulation/management game similar to 2 Point Hospital, Planet Zoo, and to some extent RimWorld. So I started by making NPCs that can interact with the world. I made a receptionist that would go find a desk and stay there. I then spawned clients that would go to the desk and check themselves in. Once they're checked in, they'll find a body of water and start swimming. Well, not really. Grab the free character model and slap some swimming animations on it. Now they're actually swimming. On day 2, I made the NPCs take care of their own needs, such as hunger, hygiene, and sleep. I used an algorithm called HTN planning, or hierarchical task network planning. Basically what it does is you give an NPC a goal, for example, not be hungry, and then have a list of tasks that it can do, and it searches that list for things that will fulfill its goal. So the NPC kind of thinks like this.
Mikasa reads the sentence aloud, her expression one of confusion. If my goal is to not be hungry, I need to eat food. To eat food, I will need to buy food first. To buy food, I need money. In order to get money, I need to sell my soul to the devils of Paradise Island.
And this sequence of tasks was all discovered by the NPC itself. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically the gist. Now if this sounds too complex to be made in just one day, that's because it is. I actually copied the NPC code from an alt colony sim project I made. I also made these time controls so I can see how the AIs behave when left alone. And spoiler alert, they don't do so well. Day 3, I made a grid-based building system similar to The Sims. You can drag in walls like this, and even do it diagonally in multiple angles. There's also a room maker. I had a small problem where the room corners look like this because of how the placement algorithm works. Right now I can only place pillars to hide them. Let me know if you have any ideas on how to fix this. I can also place doorways and windows by just clicking on the walls. It just replaces the model. Day 4, you can paint on the walls and floor now. Cool little thing is if you hold shift while clicking, it paints the entire room. It does this by drawing multiple lines to see if a wall or floor is inside the room. On day 5, I started to make placeable furniture and decorations for the resort. Some furniture, like this reception desk, need enough space for the NPCs to interact with. You can also adjust the size of some objects, as well as change the colors of furniture. Day 6, I made a day and night system. That's it, nothing really fancy. In fact, I just used an asset pack for the sky textures. Day 7, I finally made a proper camera system. You can use either the keyboard or the mouse to rotate, zoom, and pan the camera. The next day, I took a small break from programming and decided to do some environment design. Around this time, I decided to put some fantasy elements into the game. Like, what if the beach resort was actually set in a medieval fantasy world, where you can have humans, elves, and orcs as both workers and customers? Pixies could play pranks on your guests. Dragons can cause disasters like taking a huge dump on your beach. Guests with special requests can arrive, like vampires who can only swim at night. Things like that. Very exciting stuff. Day 9, I made the fantasy characters using Character Creator 3, which included humans, elves, and orcs. I plan to add more races after this, but I chose these 3 because they kinda share the same body proportions, which means they can share the same animations. On the 10th day, I actually took a break from working on the game. It's important to take time off to avoid burnout, so I had a good coffee, ate some Japanese curry, played a new game, and went into the next day fully recharged. Which is when I made some simple clothing for my characters. I tried to make modular parts so I can just mix and match body parts. So each character has a head, upper body, and lower body. Then the hair is a separate part as well. Day 12, I combine all the modular parts into a random character generator. Basically how it works is I generate a random string with 10 letters. Each letter represents a certain part of the character. For example, the first letter is the race, second is the body type, third is the face, and so on. And since there's 27 letters in the alphabet, I can theoretically have 27 choices for each body part. This way, when I eventually make a save and load system, I can just store this 10-letter word instead of the entire character. Day 13, I can finally hire workers for my resort. Each worker has different stats and traits that indicate how good they are. You need to pay them gold every day or else they will revolt. Actually, I don't have that feature yet, but maybe they will. Right now though, you can just fire them.
But you can't do this to me. I I started this company.
2 weeks into development, I added the objectives and dialogue to the game. Felt like I needed a quest system to get a feel of how the game would actually play, so there's this sweet lady who gives you a task to complete and slowly introduces you to game mechanics. Day 15 and 16. I decided to add dynamic events to spice things up. Both good and bad events will happen while you're playing the game, although right now I only have bad events. First is there's this giant crab that spawns and scares your guest away. You'll have to order one of your workers to deal with it, and then there's a giant tentacle that randomly pops up from one of your toilets. Because why not? It's a fantasy game and it's a bit whimsical. Day 17. I made the research tree. Day 18 and 19. I redesigned the UI. A lot of the things you saw earlier in the video was after I already updated the UI. For example, the hiring system actually looked like this on the day I made it. I studied the UI designs of Pioneers of Pagonia and this beautiful gacha game called AFK Journey 2. Like, why does a gacha game look this good? Day 20, I made a save system so I can finally save and load my playthroughs. I don't have to progress through the tutorial over and over again. Day 21, I actually got distracted and played RimWorld again. I originally just wanted to check how the hospitality mod works because I thought I could get some ideas from it, but the game is just so good that I had to continue playing. Okay, back to development. I drew some simple portraits for each of the races. I'm not sure yet how I'll handle the dynamic portraits, like should I put a chef's hat on the culinarians and call it a day? Should I just use the 3D models for the portraits? Day 23 to 30. I spent the last couple of days doing some bug fixing, polishing, and watching some anime. At this point, I already have a proof of concept for the resort simulation part, but there isn't a lot of management things to do yet. I don't know if I'm going to turn it into a full game, but I did learn a lot of things by making this game. Let me know what you think, and thanks for watching. Cheers!